Hi, this is Jim T. Chong, the Wok Star. We are coming from the Miracle Mile in Stockton, California. I will tell you, I'm so excited about just the way to stay healthy. We introduced the topic of ancient Chinese secret. I've got a good ancient Chinese secret for you here, but I want you to stay tuned because things we are going to be talking about today are going to have real strong implications for your success in the future. I'm Jim T. Chong, the Wok Star, and I'm so very excited about just the people I have here today. First off, we have somebody, a very special someone that came over from Vietnam. Her name is Lee Deep, and she's going to be sharing a little bit about her story. And then after that, we also have with us somebody that is really special in the martial arts arena. Many of you have heard of this thing called a black belt. Well, he actually pulls together people nationally, soon to be international, with what is called the American Martial Arts Alliance, putting together the who's who in martial arts. That's so wonderful. Jesse Bowen, let's give him a round of applause. All right. And so, you know, we are getting things ready, set up here for a great storyline today. And I want you to consider, what is your story? Through life, we all have a story that we are creating, whether or not we like it, whether or not we realize it. And so, you know, I want to just start off with Jesse. Jesse, I'm very intrigued by what you do because you know, you seem to just have a knack just working with you a little bit. I know the AMAA, or the American Martial Arts Alliance, is very special to you. Can you tell me, what is the AMAA all about?
Well, the American Martial Arts Alliance is an organization, non-political, meaning that we're bringing together people in one purpose. And that purpose is to make the martial arts better. And we have combined successful martial artists from all over the world to support what we're actually doing. The martial arts is very important because we change lives by what we do.
All right.
And this is the 21st century. You know, the martial arts has been around for a long time.
Yeah. Well, it's very exciting just to be aware of, you know, just what is happening in this whole arena of martial arts, right? And let me ask you, why is this whole arena significant in the martial arts arena?
I asked you broke up on it. Mind asking me again, please?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, not a problem. I was saying, why are martial arts important for people to understand, especially how is it relevant today with so many things changing today?
Well, the first thing you have to understand that the martial arts is teaching you about yourself. You know, physical health is very important. Mental health is very important. Attitude is very important. Self-belief is very important. And the martial arts has the components of all of those things into one. So as a person is now studying the martial arts, not only do they get physically in shape, they also learn the attributes of the martial arts. And I call that the self-discovery. So if we took away just the fighting part of the martial arts, then what we're going to come back and look at is self-discovery of who you are. Every time you punch, block, or kick, and, you know, mentally and physically, you are now making a connection. And this is how we're going to make the changes in the future.
You know, this is really, really great. You know, technology is a great thing, and it's not always the thing that will always support us all the time. Right now, you know, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties in the studio, as an example, right? But, you know, at the same time, you know, it's basically the human aspect of who we are that really can keep us going, right? It's not just about technology. You know, I can see, let me see if I can get Ed or one of the people here to help out with a little bit with the cameras here. But, you know, we also have with us somebody very special as well, Lee Deep. And I wanted to just mention, she is somebody that has come over from Vietnam. And I just wanted to just tell you, she has a great story as well to tell. And, one of the things we're going to do, we're going to get a camera on you here real quick, Jesse. But as we talk about, just living in America and having the American dream, one of the things that is important is to never forget where we have come from, right? And so, Lee, I want to just ask you, what is your story? What brought you over here to America? When did you come over to America?
Hi, Jim. Hello, Jesse. Well, thank you for having me on the show here. It's a bit of surprise. But my story, I came here when I was around 15 and a half, not knowing a thing. Well, my parents wanted to move to America, and that's how I came. Shortly after that, 3 years after we moved here, my dad had a stroke. So it was a shock to me, and my relatives, they were very busy. So I totally lost, and you know what, I have to be honest that I lived with depression for a long time. I After my dad, I didn't keep up. After my dad got sick, I did not keep up with school. I went to school, but I didn't have a goal. I didn't have direction, and I wasted all my time hanging out with friends. And after that, I had a kid when I was 23. So my life wasn't pretty. And I end up working, from job to job. I was a waitress for many years. And after that, I was a dealer working at the casino. And I was a single mom. So in my 30, after a while, I was really sick and tired of, what I was doing. And, I remind myself from time to time, I wanted to be somebody. Why did I end up that way? I don't remember, how I end up like that. But after that, I look at my daughter, my family, and my life, and I decide to make a change. And so I started to reaching out to, I started to learn as many opportunity as I could. And a lot of times they weren't for me. But, one thing that I know, that if I would keep going, one day I will find the right opportunity for me. And make the story short, I found the Medicare opportunity through a friend. She actually was my boss at the time. I was a waitress working for her, and she's a hard worker. She's really smart. She does tax. She's a tax preparer. So she told me about the Medicare opportunity, and I said, great, I don't know if it's the right opportunity for me, but I'm willing to give it a try. And I think this is something that I need to do so I could retire from my job.
Well, that's good. I think we have to consider just the different things and opportunities that we have, here in America. And there's a lot of things and different opinions about America right now. And Jesse, just in your thoughts, right? we have somebody that's come here from a different country and just really looking at it from a different perspective. How do you feel about the American dream? And how would you define the American dream? And can you tell us what you think about the American dream, Jesse Bowen?
Well, I think that when we think about the American dream, we're talking about hope.
Uh-huh.
And we do have some really major issues which blocks a lot of opportunities. But when you're trying to move forward, that's the most important thing, that you're continue to push on. You may be confronted with struggles. That's the reason why personal willpower, having that vision is important, because
Right.
that's a big part of the American dream. I teach classes on law of attraction. Law of attraction simply states, when you focus on something long enough, deep enough, and strong enough, that becomes a part of your reality. So when we think about focusing on where we want to be, you're going to have obstacles out there in front of you. But that's the thing about having a plan, is how do you work around those obstacles? So anyone, coming to America, this is a perfect place for you to dream. From the internet all the way through, there's so many opportunities, and these are the things we're trying to bring to the martial arts schools. That there's an old way that we did things, and with the American dream today, there's a new way through technology. We're having this conversation, you guys out in California, I'm in North Carolina. We bumped into each other, believe it or not, was it a week ago, 2 weeks ago? And
Yes.
all of a sudden, we have now connected opportunities. So through the social media, there's plenty of opportunities, but you really have to educate yourself on what it is you want to be. I truly believe that, after working 27 years in the university setting at Duke University, I truly believe that success is about your education. And that doesn't necessarily mean going to school or going to college, because, they're through social media, YouTube, you have this college right in front of you all the time through the computer. So this is the perfect place. You have to readjust your attitude and not try to look at all and discover what's wrong. You have to discover what's right. Just like with the book that we've released, it was just a thought, it was a dream, and all of a sudden we were presented with people, opportunities that believed in what we were doing, and we were able to make a difference. So anyone, I believe, can, this is a perfect environment. Let's get past all the political craziness and focus on where we want to go. But, just like you were saying a few months ago, we have to focus. When I find my focus and I determine that I want better, I want more, then the American dream book, you have to define, how do you define the American dream? That's where people get lost, is in their own definition.
Yeah, and we have a lot going on nationally, as you know, in terms of the country itself. I believe coming together is always better than being divided, and as we think about just what we have to be grateful for here, there's definitely a lot of people pointing to a lot of things. We won't get into necessarily all the specifics today about America, right? What is your personal thought about America?
It's the land, it's the land of opportunity. It is the land of freedom. This is where we are. This is where we are now. And those freedoms, from the civil rights movement to now, is providing that spirituality. If you look at around the world at all the things that's happening, the suppressions of religion and all these things, we don't have those. And this is why it's important that we stay focused on the foundation that the nation was built on, and now to diversify, because we are now a very diversified, country. So like I said, the old way is gone, the new way is here, but we have to always remember within that old foundation that we call tradition, there's so much value as we bring it into the reality of where we are today.
Yeah, that is so very true. And, Lee, we were talking a little bit about the American dream, what that really means, right? What is your American dream?
My American dream is I want to be successful, and my success is I want to be a helpful person to the community, to the people, because American has done so much for me and my family when I were in my tough times, and I mean it was a long time. American give my daughter food, medical, and my dad when he was sick. I'm very thankful that I'm here, and I know that America want to help people. So when I got into the seniors market, and at first, I wasn't sure if this is for me, but then as I help them, and I feel it's a need, and they appreciate what I'm doing for them, so it just make me want to do more.
Yeah, that's really good. And if you was to take it back, where you were, how old when you came over here? 15 and a half?
Yeah, 15 and a half, 16.
All right. Would you still come over to America? Would you stay in Vietnam? What would you want to do?
Of course. I would love to come here. It's not no doubt.
That's great. And so I think we all have to remember where we came from, and also just the different things that we have opportunity here in this great land, and sometimes we can lose perspective of that. Now, with technology, it could be a great thing. It could be a wonderful thing to help us accomplish things a lot faster. But here is the interesting thing. The faster we accomplish something, does that mean that we're taking that time to do things a little bit more recreational, building our life? Well, we seem to want to do more. It's like a consuming fire. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. And this is why I appreciate so much about having Jesse, you on the show today. I know that with a lot of the electronics, the things that are happening today, that it's easy, even though it should be technology. We say, hey, it kind of brings people together. Social media, right? You look around, and when you're in a restaurant, you have maybe a family in a family setting. You're in a restaurant. You're looking around. Are people necessarily engaging as much today as they were yesterday? Not really. You know what they're doing? They're looking down. You know what they're looking at?
Facebook.
Yeah, their phones, right?
Phone.
And so these things, they're tools to accomplish something. And so, Jesse, I know that is one reason why I think things of discipline that instill values in people are so very important. And, I know you deal with your organization, specifically people in the black belt arena. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And, I know there's a lot of things that are instilled because of the martial arts that sometimes people may overlook. For instance, one of the problems that I know, I just talked to a parent, us both being parents, and Jesse, I don't know, are you a parent as well?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you understand this, right? The whole thing is that,
I
yeah.
have 4 kids.
Wow, that's all. I got 2, and you have 1, right?
1.
Okay,
Yes.
but here is, in China, we're only allowed to. Well, we won't get into that. They had the quota. Remember when they instilled that quota?
I think 1 or
But
2.
the whole thing is that let me just name off a problem, and you just tell me, Jesse, if martial arts, just something of that help with that. First off, focus, right?
Yeah.
How can martial arts help kids and even just people as a whole with focus?
Well, the martial arts classroom, and what I'll do is speak about my classroom because it's very difficult. And then the martial arts, what martial arts is really not it. It's the teacher and the aspects of martial arts that the teacher understands. If you want to say which is good, which style is better, I always say go back to the teacher. So, in my classroom, focus becomes in the door. Because what is focus? That means the clarity of where you are, your surroundings, who you are, what you're doing. And that has to start in teaching that. It has to be from the time the student walks in the door of their martial arts program. So when they begin to walk in, they learn to focus. I know at my school, when every student walks in, they start off by going, "Hello, sir," and they say it very loud and very direct. And generally I will turn around and I'll say back, "Hello, sir," or "Hello, ma'am. How are you doing today?" And then when they come on the floor to begin to train, they say, "Yes, I can." So every student must say, "Yes, I can."
Wow.
And with a strong voice, because that's what we're doing. We're learning to focus their minds. And as you said before a few moments ago, because of technology, every time someone stops, they pick up their cell phone, checking what social media. And what's actually occurring here, we have right brain, left brain. Think about left brain as the analytical part of the thing that we are smart at. Right brain is the creative side. So one of the things that we're losing, we are actually smarter now, but because of technology, we're losing creativity. And that's a right brain thing. And when the martial arts, we're teaching about visualization. And so you don't hear that word visualization, but you see, from the internet to the microphone you're on to the camera, all of this was created in someone's mind, and they brought it to reality. So martial arts training through the forms and the katas and things we do helps to build creativity. And the mind has to focus. Some of these patterns have anywhere from 20 to 40 movements. So, and they're done over and over, and the repetition is what builds discipline. The discipline of being able to go through it. So in the martial arts, it's like you have some arts that it's about you walk in, you start punching and kicking the bag. But in the martial arts, we start off with day one teaching you about focus. And again, it's a very military type of environment, especially my classroom. So therefore, that discipline is not an option; it's a mandatory thing that student has, and being able to focus. Are they looking around? Are they looking in the mirror? Are they finding themselves? Do they know that spot on the floor that they stand at? You see, these are the things that helps to make the mind stronger, so that you can do all of these things. But if you're just doing video games, or you're just on social media, you're not really, the mind is developing, you're getting smarter, but the question becomes, are you maintaining or are you developing creativity?
Yeah, I think that's really a critical thing to think about. Like, I'm walking down the street and I'm watching these parents, and I'm looking at the kids. We have these little 6 or 7-year-olds with the upgraded iPhone playing games, and it's not just their parents, it's their very own. I know, because the parents are talking on their phones, right? And it's amazing, right? But, what are we doing to really change the situation? It really lies in the solution of the past. Something that is as simple as putting them in some sort of program. That's why sports are so very important. Martial arts is also a sport, but Lee, you hear about this, right? You kind of see things from a different perspective, coming from Vietnam and stuff too, right? Can you see really help excel us better as people than just looking and using technology all the time?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So we look at martial arts, right? And a lot of martial arts. Now, I hope I'm saying this in the right vein. They have been originated from the Orient. Is that correct, Jesse?
Right.
And
right.
A lot of these skills that we're teaching kids, in my mind, just straight talk here, as we take a look at what's happening today, kids, you tell me if this is good or bad, all right? You're as a mom, right? You're as a mom. We have you as a dad, myself as a father as well. But children are being taught that when they need something, all they need to do is pick up this thing called a phone, call somebody, and we can get it, right? Hey, let's even apply it to modern day dating, right? Hey, if somebody feels rejected, all they have to do is pick up the phone, find 5 friends or 10 friends. Hi. Immediately, they can get a response, They have these dating sites where you don't even need to really get to know the person. You don't go through that experience. You can just connect with somebody, I'm putting in quotes, with somebody that's directly in line, so to speak, in terms of what you are interested in. You get a shortcut everything. Jesse, is that a good or a bad thing in your mind?
Well, we lose part of the process, and that's when we become sure, just like in relationships. And you're correct. If you want a relationship, you don't have time to meet someone. It's always easy to go online. I've got 5,000 friends on Facebook. So I'm on there all the time, but I have a very specific reason for all these people that we connect to. And the positive side is that many of the people that I would, we're having this engagement right now because of social media.
Yep, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we can do this.
Right, because I've been thinking about a publicist, and all of a sudden I discovered that you're fitting into that mold, and so I reach out to someone that knows you and puts us into contact, and we discover so many other things that's happening. So that part is a good part. I think that the bad part is that we're losing the ability to have social skills. I mean, real social skills, real people skills. If I don't like this conversation we have, I can just hit a button and disconnect it.
Right.
Or I sit in my world and I don't really know how to engage you on one-on-one. So through social media, we're good, but we're having a conversation right now as if we would be standing in front of each other. I believe in many cases we're losing the social skill of the human communication in a one-on-one. I work with people that they don't want to talk to me. Texting me is good.
Right.
But having a conversation with me, they don't want to have a conversation with me. Their preferred method of communication is going to be texting me. I'm still at that point. I want you to hear my voice.
That's right.
So you can understand exactly what I'm saying through my voice tones. So when we're communicating, you'll understand the importance of our communication. But texting, you're missing. You really missed that part.
Yeah. And then, hey, and then you get you did it all in caps. You must be shouting on me. You must be upset. So many misreads. Hey, even talking, we know that they say many, many problems are caused by incorrect communication. People misinterpret something, and let alone now I can't see you, I can't listen to your tone, and then I read something and I defer exactly what you meant. Can you see a lot of, I know friends have gotten upset. Well, he didn't respond. He mustn't like me. What is going on? I mean, they really get into this situation that's pretty interesting, and the person just said, I just want to spend some time with my wife, so I shut off my phone, And so it's really interesting. We lose this whole human dynamic of things, right? And I was telling Lee even before, Lee, when we were coming here, right? I said, this is going to be a great experience for you to be in the studio, learn how to speak, right? And we'll be able to analyze. It's a win for you. Why? It's not about technology. It's live. We do have recordings we can look back on. I mean, we've had some things happen in today's recording. It's been exciting. There was a clip that broke, so we had to rejuggle some things here. But we have to be able to pivot. We have to be able to course correct where we need to course correct. And if you don't have that muscle in your brain doing that, it can make it really difficult, right? And so even, you coming in, I'm very proud of you, and, now we have not rehearsed this, but let me ask you, Jesse, how do you feel about her speaking abilities and intonation? Can you hear her pretty clearly?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did a very good job.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did a very
thank
good
you.
job. And as because I'm also a certified life coach, and hearing what she was saying today is important, because if I had a client that I was trying to support to move to another level to their goals, picking out those key points today that she already understands now
Yeah.
about where she wants to really be, is being able to have the clarity of knowing what it is she wants to do, and also picking out a plan.
Yep.
So, you can have a vision, but if you don't have a plan, then that's a problem. So you develop a plan, and this is the reason why in the world of the mental world of visualization and meditation is find that quiet place and create this map in your mind. Every entrepreneur, that they actually create this plan, whether they're conscious or not, of how to be able to execute it. So meditate on it. That means to bring it in. Meditation gives your vision power, creates your dream board with the outcome that you're looking for. So that's what, and that's the same thing about martial arts. This is what it's teaching, is that that's like in self-defense. If you've got to be able to defend yourself, you're late, because you should be trained that you sense that you feel it, that you're a part of it. You know the outcome before it gets started. It's like breaking a board or breaking a block. Someone says, well, you stack up, 5 blocks and you break them. Well, what's the secret? I had someone who was working with me says, I don't believe that's possible. But see, the point of it is, you don't strike blocks. You actually strike the floor. You got to focus beyond the block, because if your focus is just on the block, this is as far as you can go. You may break the first one, but you won't break the other 4. So the depth of your focus, and see, when we think about focus, it's applied in everything. The depth of your vision, the depth of your goals, how deeply do you believe in it? Because that is the fuel that makes it happen. The American dream is here. Question is, do you have the willingness to pick it up and do this? Why I said the martial arts school owners, how do you define your success? Everybody defines it totally different. And I think this is where it's important, is how do you define success, and what does success mean to you?
I'm really excited about this conversation. Next week, we'll have you back, and we'll really talk a lot about just your specific organization, why you set it up, and just, man, this is just one of the disciplines we talked about. Focus. I assume there's a few more. We can go on and on about how important something like martial arts is. Of course, with our heritage, our culture, martial arts is really a part of the foundation of who we are, even in terms of being amongst the Asianic communities as well. But really, it's beyond that. It's really all about essence. It's all about just people and humanity. And I just want to ask you, Jesse, before we get a chance to go here today, I know you have an incredible event coming up for black belt martial artists. Also, just what you're looking to do with your organization. If you can go ahead and just share that here, the American Martial Arts Alliance, your organization, what are you hoping to accomplish with it?
Well, when I first started in the martial arts and I bought a franchise in 1980, that was a great opportunity. I actually owned that franchise for 38 years, just sold it this past year. And what I learned in that experience, it wasn't going in and teaching martial arts. Most martial artists, they come in and they teach. Their black belts. They come in and they open up a school. They want to teach martial arts. Well, my experience was, it was 2 things. I was doing 2 things at once. I was teaching the martial arts. I began my teaching experience as a green belt, but my teacher had set up a program to educate martial artists and get their business degrees. And so by the time I had opened up my martial arts school, I actually had a bachelor's degree in martial arts management. And that was the key, and I still think that's the key today in helping individuals build a successful business is having that knowledge. So with the American Martial Arts Alliance, we're bringing people together to tell their story, because the story that martial artists tell, this is important because everyone, we're all having the same similar experiences. So as little John is being, I started because I was picked on, and today we call it bullying. When I was growing up, it was called being a coward. If you didn't fight back, you were just a coward. So it's to come in and that we have something to offer. And this is why we've started the Who's Who book and the Martial Arts Masters and Pioneers book. The Martial Arts Masters and Pioneers book is not about champions, about only the strong. It's about the everyday martial artist, the hero that may have never won a martial arts trophy in his life or her life. It's about the things they're doing in their community, how they're building people, how they're making people better, and so that the book shares over 200 martial artists to ask they're answering two questions. The first question is, number one, why did you get started in the martial arts? The second question is, how has the martial arts impacted your life? If it was not for the martial arts, we really wouldn't be having this conversation. I have no idea what I would be doing, with my life or in my life if it had not been that. So our organization wants to bring together education. We non-political. We want to become the mastermind of helping martial arts school owners to understand the profession of the martial arts. The Olympics is coming up next year. Martial arts is going to be a demonstration sport. People are going to be now really looking at karate and taekwondo and other martial arts forms. We have to prepare ourselves for the upcoming interest that's going to be generated because karate is going in as a demonstration sport. So we have to prepare ourselves to run martial arts schools for the 21st century.
Wow, that's pretty exciting. And, Lee, we've had a great show today. Thank you so much for sharing about your life, your experience coming here from Vietnam. And, for you, Jesse, in terms of what you do with the Martial Arts Association and specifically in really giving this level of expertise to help train people just to be better people as a whole. One thing I see is, even coming here to America, we have a lot of people, it's not just about the youth, that are wanting to develop a skill here. What better way than something that by design helps train you to be focused and disciplined? And we're going to talk more about that next week here and on Wok the Talk. And I just wanted to ask you, Lee, do you have any final words you'd like to share here?
No. Well, thank you. And thank you, Jesse.
Well, thank you.
Well, great. And Jesse, what about you? Any final thoughts here in terms of today's show and just the thoughts we were able to talk about?
Well, to learn more about what we're doing and to become, inspired and learn about martial artists, you can go to our website, which is who'swhointhemartialarts.com. You can also go to online at Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Check out the books. We're releasing June 29th, 28th in Las Vegas, the new book, and which is the 5th book in the series. But you can also pre-order the book online. But I would encourage you, if you've had an interest in the martial arts, maybe this is something that now stimulates you to take action. So go check out the book. You can always email me if you're new to the martial arts and you don't know, or you want to know how do you choose a good martial arts school. You can give me a buzz. You can go to our book because I've already gone through the bios of at least 99% of everyone that's in our book.
Wow.
And, so they're sort of pre-qualified people to be able to help you, begin this successful martial arts journey. And, anybody can start on the road, but the question is how many people can finish. And being able to finish and achieve black belt is about motivation, and it's about good leadership.
And I learned something new as well. Just writing the article for the book, one of the things that I realized is really the black belt is an achievement, but it's just really the beginning stage of where you really understand how much you need to learn. And, I'm very excited for having you on the show here today, Jesse. Next week, we'll plan on having you back if that works with your schedule. And I will tell you out there, whether you are coming here in terms of pursuing what we call the American dream, whether you're somebody being born here, you need to really get the foundation set. A lot of that comes through focus and discipline. And I just wanted to highlight again, who's who in martialarts.com. You can look there for the American Martial Arts Alliance and the Who's Who in Martial Arts book. The new version, I believe it's the 5th version. Is that correct, or the 6th version?
It's the 5th.
This is the 5th version coming out the end of June. Keep your eye open for it. And you just gave some great nuggets of wisdom in terms of really being a resource for being able to find out what makes a good martial arts class instructor. So as you're pursuing a lot of these things in technology and pursuing what we call the American dream, don't forget, it really all starts with the first step. I hope the first step is really coming down to the foundations of what truly the arts can bring, such as martial arts, which is the discipline and focus. This is Jim T. Chong, the Wok Star, along with Jesse Bowen with the American Martial Arts Alliance, and also Lee Deep, who also is focused on really helping seniors and their healthcare solutions. So go ahead, play big. They used to say play big or go home, right? Go big or go home. I say no, go big or don't start at all. But I want everyone to start with a big American dream. This is Jim T. Chong, the Wok Star, signing off, and have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.